One of the most remarkable things about humanity is that we have remarkable pattern recognition, and that's a huge part of our intelligence. We're able to see the patterns in things. We're able to see the patterns of predators and avoid them. We're able to see how berries grow, how food grows, and gather it. And we're able to figure out how other people's patterns can either aid or be a problem for us. That's a remarkable part of our evolution, is the ability to recognize patterns in things. And I think that nature can answer a lot of our questions if we use that while in nature to its fullest capacity. Its fullest capacity in the way in which I am speaking is kind of spiritually. Um, Nature can answer our questions if we're willing to look at the patterns. Now, it doesn't just mean looking for various runes as you look into the trees and look into the branches, looking for various runes or various symbols that you're familiar with, or looking for various runes or patterns or symbols in tree leaves that are on the ground, or the patterns of trails through the forest. They can be all these things, but it's not just that. We can amp it up a bit. So we can walk into nature with a question on in our minds. So prime your mind that you have a question that you want answered before you walk into nature. Or perhaps it could be an open-ended question where you don't know what the question is, but you're looking for an answer to a question that you don't know. But walking into nature with a question, a specific question in mind, and looking for the answer, you'll be surprised how remarkably the human brain will look for an answer to that question just by using your instinct, just by using your naturally evolved intelligence. So how does this kind of manifest? So if it's a question of how do I do this, or how do I survive this? How do I move forward in this regard or this relationship or in my career? You might, as you walk, you might look for answers in the trees. Sometimes trees, they grow in odd ways. Sometimes when they tip over, some of the roots go down, and then the ones that are further away, they thicken, or they just completely don't worry about those roots, so they're not as connected by those roots. Gravity and devastation on nature, or whether not necessarily devastation, but affecting trees, for instance, they're very good at surviving and finding the light, putting their leaves somewhere, creatively putting their branches and their leaves somewhere where they get the light, and positioning their roots so that they're both stable and so that they can get the proper nutrients from their proper sources. Sometimes you have to be creative. Employ your creativity. That will naturally connect to your intelligence and your instinct, which can help you look for answers. You might watch animals as they gather food, or birds at where they place their nests, how they build their nests, where they look for solutions, and how waterways have naturally flowed in various directions to go around obstacles, how they've gone through obstacles, and how our man-made either paths or waterways, how nature creatively works around them, over them, or through them. It requires a certain serendipitous acceptance that the universe does want to help you, and it wants you to find the answer. If you believe that nature itself is trying to tell you the answer, you're more likely to find it. And it is on a grander scale for everyone, but sometimes it can be very particular to a particular individual, and looking for the lessons of how different parts of nature survives and how animals survive. And what I think of as fairly lucky, though this is more of a superstition, though a lot of people would call everything that I believe into a superstition, but I often look for, like, I don't look for feathers, but when I find them and they're directly in my path, where I was going to walk anyway, and I find one directly in my path, I kind of gather it and either place it in my hair or keep it for later and put it with my ancestral bowl over there with various pieces of sage and other things in there that I might use later, with a little blessing from the ancestors. Little practices like that will help you find a place where you might want to look extra hard for the patterns. If you look at grass and dead grass, there's a whole lot of patterns in that, and there's a whole lot of texture. Our universe is infinitesimal in the amount of information that it provides us, and it is infinite. Infinitely small and infinitely big. There's an infinite amount of data before your eyes. You just have to both realize that and look closely and decide which details that you want to rely upon. Decide which details pop out to you. Perhaps it's just the shape of the bark and trees, or how the place where a branch was, how the bark around it kind of flows and weaves in and out of the wound. Because wounds in nature can teach us a lot as well. You might not find something very specific, but you will find patterns that will aid you in your search. And just like pieces of sage, don't think that more is necessarily better. Sometimes just a little leaf of sage, a little bit, can produce a lot of smoke, a lot of spiritual cleansing smoke that is extremely useful for the energy in the room or the area. A lot of smoke comes out of a little piece of sage, and that's how you should use it. So don't try to overwhelm yourself with detail, but keep an eye out for the little things that pop out to you for particular reasons. Sometimes you have to look for the whys and the questions, but the answers are always there. You just have to look close enough. Just like a little piece of sage providing so much healing energy just from a tiny leaf. The answers are out there. The answers are in nature. You just have to open yourself up to it. Open yourself up to the idea that nature does want to answer your questions and is willing to present you with the answers as long as you're willing to look. At any rate, thank you very much for watching. Hope this was interesting. Feel free to give this video a like. That helps this channel a lot. And feel free to leave a comment and share this video wherever you like. At any rate, thank you very much for watching, and hope all of you have a wonderful day.